Okay, so my little camera. Um, so tentative exam dates, Friday, February 2nd. Probably we'll have an exam that day, tentative. So just so you know, it might move, but probably not. So you can probably ink these into your schedule. Friday, February 23rd, you already know about that one. Then April 5th, that's the one that's the most tentative, let's just say, because that's kind of out in the future there. But that's I'm aiming for that. And then the final, the not the final exam, but the last sort of chapter exam will be Friday, April 26th. I'm pretty sure about that one because that is the Friday before finals week, and we have Monday of finals week. So what'll happen is you'll take the exam Friday. I always get your exam back to you the very next class day. So you'll get it back by Monday. We'll talk it. We'll have a little party or something before our exam, which I think is Tuesday in here. So I know that's a lot of stuff going on that week, but that I'm pretty sure is true. So the only one that is the most tentative one is this April 5th, but it'll probably be that day. So there's that. Just to get it out of the way, I don't. No one asked me in this class, but my other classes, people asked me this, and I was shocked this morning when I got here. I had a colleague who has been working with me for 10 years ask me this question. The question is, did you bike to work today? Of course I did. I bike to work every day. Here's what, if you go look at my tires, these are metal studs. So embedded in the tires. I get here every day on my bicycle. Here to prove it, that's my cycle computer this morning at 6:21, 7.4 degrees, and that's not even my PR. That's actually quite warm. My PR is -18. That's before the wind chill, by the way. So anyway, there's that. So homework. Let's deal with this really quick. Where is it? Hold on a minute. So apparently I did bad, but some of you may have done some bad too. Oh, come on, let me just do this. So, oh, weird. There we go. So here is what we're looking at on our webpage. So I'm going to try really hard to keep things organized properly. And so the bad thing that I did was apparently I didn't have my dates set up correctly. And so the first one, some of you had to use late pass or something. I'm going to correct that. In fact, I could correct it right now, but I will just make sure that everyone gets 100 who did it, because that's the whole point of this first one. So I think I accidentally had the date set as yesterday instead of today. So if you didn't do that one till late last night, you would have gotten like 50% off. I'm just going to go in, and if you've done it, 100%, because the whole point of that is just to orient yourself to this learning management thing. But that wasn't the only thing. You're supposed to do these as well. You might not have done those. Um, I looked on the grade book. It looked like some of you did it, some of you didn't do it. So anyway, if you haven't done them, you'll need to do those at some point. Normally, we would have time for questions about homework. I don't know that there's a lot of questions about these. They're just sort of like, I don't know, stupid busy work almost. Kind of probably felt like busy work. Sorry about that. I mainly was wanting you to get some experience with this so that you knew what to expect with homework. So once I have my list up here, the first thing every day, go over homework. Second thing every day, give a quiz. I don't have a real quiz for you, so I have a fake quiz. Now this quiz, it's on Moodle, and you can do it on your phone. You can do it wherever, as long as you have some sort of a device, you can do it. You can do it right now. In fact, I encourage you to do it now. But let me explain what this is for. This is for my statistics class. I need to gather some data for them so that they can, I don't know, do things. Don't worry. You can answer truthfully or not truthfully, but I'd prefer truthfully if you wouldn't mind. But I won't give any names out. In fact, I won't give them the data unless I completely anonymize it. However, there are a few questions that I'm asking you to just answer. If you don't know the answer, just guess, because that makes it more fun for me as I, make graphs and stuff. So things like the Taylor Swift question. If you don't know when Taylor Swift's album came out, 1989. Anyway, just pick a number. And I'll tell you now, it's not 1950. Just give you that. And there was one question that I have a duplicate for by mistake. So the duplicate, I think it's Martin Luther King Day. Just answer the same thing for both, or if you don't know the right answer, you could guess both of them. But work alone, do the quiz. I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that. It won't take long. Everyone gets 100. All you got to do is do it. You get 100. That way I can, and I'll share the data with you as well. If you're curious, I'll do that when I get it ready for my stats people. This just helps me to, make class more fun for them. So thank you for helping me there. Oops, ignore that. Sorry. There. That's all. There's that. See how many people we got here. This will work. Oops. Yeah, that works. Yes. That works. Nice. It just happened. All right, hopefully you're coming down the home stretch. If you're done, thanks so much for filling out that survey. Like I said, you get 100% for your quiz grade for that for today. So everyone's starting out with 100% as they're in the grade book. Well, once I update the grade book before whenever it is, Wednesday is our next class. Okay, so we are moving on though. And so before we do, we're going to have to, I'm going to need 8 groups eventually. But there's some natural groupings here, like this whole grouping here, these 4, these 4, these 4. As we get back here, things get a little bit funkier. We got a group here, maybe these 3. I don't even know what to do here. So let's see, 3 here. We got, is this a 4 group maybe? We can pretend. We have a group of 4. And then, I don't know what to do here. You can work it out. So anyway, so back there, those 3 rows need to be 2 groups. So, wait, is that right? Wait, 1, 2, 3. Wait, sorry, why can't I do simple math? We got 1, 2, 3, 4. And that makes it easy. 5, 6, 7, 8. 5. Oh, I know what we can do is we could let it then that makes it easier. Okay, so when the time comes. Okay, we're moving on. So this very first, so we're dealing with numbers. This is Introduction to Math Systems. Math is numbers, isn't it? And so the very first section that we're going to be talking about, or the very first unit that we're going to be interested in is ancient math systems, or how do we represent numbers? Like historically, how have we represented numbers? Let me just show you what I mean by this. I have to skip ahead here. Here we go. This is what I'm looking for. Here, this system of numeration. This is called the Hindu-Arabic system of numeration. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sound familiar? That's the number system we use. This isn't the American system, it's the Hindu-Arabic system. And the reason it's called Hindu-Arabic is because it was the people who came up with it originally were these Indians, Hindu, in the Indian subcontinent of Asia. And then the Arabs went and conquered them and took their numbers. And then the Europeans eventually went the Crusades and stole the ideas from the Arabs. So the lineage, where this comes from, are Hindu-Arabic. Now, this is kind of interesting. You know, this is what the actual numbers used to look like back in the olden days. So originally, the Brahmi numerals looked like this. Kind of makes sense. You have 1, 2, 3. Then the 4 looks, I don't know what that's supposed to be. And then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then the Indian system, they kind of, it morphs. You can sort of see the evolution of our numbers that you're used to, you know, coming down through here. That then the Indians went to the Sanskrits, but the Arabs, the East and Western Arab sort of stole that, or didn't steal it, they borrowed it. You know, you run into a good idea, you might as well use it. And you can kind of see the evolution of the 3, for example. You have this 3 lines turn into the 3 here, and then there's a 3, there's a 3, and so on. And so we got our number system from the Hindus and the Arabs, so this is called the Hindu-Arabic number system. Now we're going to study several systems of numeration, but before we do that, I thought it would be interesting to see what you would come up with if you invented your own system of numeration. And basically what we want is we want some way of keeping track of numbers. And these can be with symbols, they can be with anything you'd like. If you want to describe something strange, I have a couple of weird things to show you. One involves a piece of rope. I've got some rope here. I have a ring too. I guess I could do a magic trick too, but I've got rope to show you a way of keeping track of numbers using rope. But that's your job, is come up with a system of numeration, come up with a counting system. And then once you've invented this counting system, tell me how you would make the following numbers: 1, 2, 5, 15, and 200. So how would you represent those using your system? And then I can do the same for the ones that we have up here with the rope, with the little cubes. But take a minute, discuss in your group how you might come up with a system, and then we'll see what you want to share with me. Oh, I was thinking this was one group and that was another group, but you want it to be one giant group?
You said group of 8, right?
Oh no, there's groups of 4. You're going to turn into, there will be a situation where you guys are going to work together in a bit. Yeah. I mean, if you need help. So this is a group of 2. Are you going to use those?
Yeah.
Sure. I can call in someone. Okay. You got it? You okay?
Like one
Just not
two.
how would you represent?
that's what I was thinking. There's always my mom or something.
Okay. Just come up with a different each number, each value of like 200 would be like do zeros for 200 or zeros for 0 because they're being one. Then do like a B. Each individual, like the 2 would be represented by the 2 lines. Okay, so there's ways of representing it. You're divided, you don't like what they're doing? Yeah, okay. You're okay. I don't need to mediate. You got your runes? One upside down, one right side up. You got it. You got something? You got it? Is it working? This is what oh, so okay. He's gonna trust it.
Well, no, he was just over here. He was just over here. Because that would be like 100.
Lisa.
Alice.
Lisa. We're just gonna trust her. Because she's the.
Okay.
Oh, look.
So this is what we have. So like 1, 2, 5 is upside down. So the line that.
Oh.
So like how it's upside down. It was hated.
I see what you did there. Wait, we could do a cat. We could do a cat on that. I didn't know that. This is a normal.
Yeah.
Could you not? They could use yeah. What do we? So we put
1 to 5. We're pretty much using the backwards. Oh, yeah. That's actually 1 star. And then
What were the numbers for those? Oh, 1, 2, 5, 15, 200. Do you think you can make those numbers with your system? Oh, nice.
shapes and numerals.
All right, what you got? You got something?
Numbers or letters.
Numbers or letters?
Yeah.
What's P?
Oh shoot. Yeah, that might not work. How about we do one?
Okay,
Because a circle is 0 because it has no straight line. Everything else has straight lines.
Ooh, fancy.
So I tried to put like so it's like
That's not what it is. It's like,
Is that what you guys are doing?
oh my goodness. I was thinking how it's like the first person one day.
Oh, I see.
Two history.
What do we got here? Did you figure out what you did? Oh, you got it. Oh, that's right, letters. Yours are interesting. And yours? You got it. Okay, got it. Yeah, interesting. Okay, I think we're at the point where we can at least sort of subdivide this into different types of systems, because not everyone has the same type of system. Now, I don't want to denigrate anyone, but the two front groups have basically the same system, and I think there were a couple of others. Well, I was going to say that it's kind of a mundane system. Sorry. But anyway, yeah, I know, you're like, yeah, oh. But anyway, here's what they did. I'll summarize using this group, but they did a very similar thing. Is they're like, okay, we'll just replace the numbers. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 0. And we'll just replace those symbols with new symbols after figuring out why it looks so weird. Why does it look like that? I don't know why. Why is there a big gap there? There we go. Okay. Okay, so here, might be helpful. I was going to bring this around, but I don't trust you to touch this. So anyway, let me just get this front group, make sure I'm doing this right. A is equal to 0, B is equal to 1, C is equal to 2, etc. Okay, and so the number 5 is equal to the letter F. Okay, and then the number 200 is equal to CAA. So they've just changed each of the numerals that we're used to with different symbols. This front group did a similar thing. Your symbols were a little bit more inventive than letters, but they were still symbols, just making a direct replacement of our numerals for your symbols. Nothing wrong with that. I didn't give you any instruction as to what you should do. And so that's one. And I'm glad that we have at least two groups. Wasn't there another group that did something similar, just had a direct replacement of our symbols for another set of symbols? Maybe you don't want to admit it now. Okay, so we have that. I can't remember. Oh, this group here. I love the way you described yours. Let me see if I can get it right. They have this symbol is 1.
No, that's 5.
Oh, sorry.
And then a normal like L, like cursive L is. That's
okay. That's 1. This is 5.
Yeah.
And what was 10?
10 is just like a subtraction symbol.
Like this. Okay, we'll just go with that for now. And so is anyone familiar with Roman numerals? Okay, we're going to learn about it today if you aren't. So this is similar to that. So if you want to do the number 25, you would do dash, and this. Is that right? All right, great. I got it. I can do this. So this is different. I want to point out that this is very different from, here, just a minute. Let me do the number 200. What was your 100 number?
It's just the equals sign.
Equals is 100. Okay, so like this?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's confusing. I'll put a box around it. Okay, so I want to just point out that there's a huge difference between what that group did and what these two groups did. And then maybe we can get some more classification here. But the big difference is that here I have these two symbols next to each other. They both mean the same thing. This one means 100, this one means 100, and you add them together to get the total, right? That's basically what you do, right? Up here, this group and that group, they have their symbols, and you're not adding them together, not like this group did. They're actually, the position, the place that they're in matters. Like that C there. What does the C represent? What's the C in your language?
2.
It's 2. But wait a minute, that's 200. So how do you get 200 out of that?
Because you have 2 zeros after it.
Okay. So it's because that place is the hundreds place. Hundreds place. So if the C represents 2, you have 2 hundreds. And then the A is worth 0, so you have no 10s and no 1s. And the same with yours. You had a sort of a place value. Did anyone else have a place value where the position mattered? What position you were in? Okay, you guys are special. That was the most inventive of the bunch. Did anyone else have something where they were adding together their symbols? I can't remember what was the ice cream cones? Oh, yours was similar. Oh, the triangle and the square, similar in the way you're combining them is interesting. So we have the square and the triangle. What's the triangle word? And square? Okay, so and then you would just have a string of these things. Why is it doing this to me? I don't know why it's doing this to me. Okay, there we go. That's better. Yeah, I'll have to reboot my system or something. Okay, very nice. So, and then in their system, to get the number, if I wanted to make the number 2, just put 2 triangles. Oh, okay. So you had something special. What about number 3? You don't have the number 3. Okay. So I'm just going to pause it. I'm going to pretend that this is what you want to do for 3. Triangle, circle? Sure. And then you add them together? All right, very nice. Okay, now this group here, this is kind of interesting. You have circles.
Yeah.
Circles is that, oh wait, you have lines. Lines and dots. Ooh, this is so good. I love this. So let's do this. We'll come back to the circles and dots in just a minute. So you have lines and then dots on the lines. Okay, so for example, let me see if I understand your system back here. I'm going to make the number, how about 325? Okay, let's see if I know it. So here is 325. Did I do it right? Oh, I've got it. Okay, so does everyone see what they've done? Now, is their system more similar to the front row or to the second row here? Which would you say is more similar?
To us.
It's more similar. Why is it more similar to you?
Because the position matters more.
Yeah, so you have a number of dots, and you're like, oh, this is the hundreds place, this is the tens place, and this is the ones place. So we've got that. You have a similar thing with the circles. Let me see if I got this right. Is that this is 1.
No, it's a circle.
Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, what's 2?
Just a dot outside of the circle.
1 dot?
Yes. Because the circle itself.
Okay, you're making it confusing. Okay, so here's 1. Okay, so there's 2, and then this is 3,
Yes.
and this is 4. Okay, 5. Okay, let me see if I can do 25 without looking. So I believe that their 25 would be this. 2 dots inside. Whoa. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I take it back. Theirs is totally crazy. But yeah, so don't worry, you don't have to learn their method. But I just want to point out, if you do understand what they're doing, is they're saying, if you're outside the circle, these are all units, ones. If you're inside the circle, that's tens. So this is placed, and then for 200, you have, oh wait, how are you going to do 200?
Yeah, that was it.
How do you do 100?
I couldn't tell.
Okay. Yeah, I was getting excited that I thought that the hundreds would be in here, like 200. And,
That's what we did.
and 50. And then, yeah, so maybe we'll have to modify your system. This would be 254, maybe. You have 2 dots inside this. Oh, now I've just made it into 2000. Every circle gives you another place value. Isn't that the way, sort of the way you're thinking about this? Yeah, I know it's not fully fleshed out. That's fine. And then we have the ice cream cones we already did. And then there was the back row. Did you guys have something? You had symbols for the numbers, and did you add them together? I was curious to see what this looks like. Okay, yeah, those are interesting. Ooh, that's kind of positional as well. Ooh, I'm hesitant. I like it, but you know, it's on that's next level stuff here. Do you have symbols for your numbers? Is yours positional? Yours is positional, isn't it? Because if you get to hundreds, you have to have more squares. Another symbol. Okay. Interesting. And you have symbols. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. It's positional. Is this yours? Okay, good. So it's similar. Okay, so they did something similar. Why is this doing this to me? I don't know. Okay. Well, let's see. I'm worried about the time, so let's go over. Let me just blab for a bit, if you don't mind, and then we'll move on to the. Let's see if this can go. There we go. Okay. So I was going to show you a couple of different systems that historical systems, and this is going to feel a little bit crazy, but don't fret. So this is called an Incan counting board. So this, here, let's see, we'll just put it there. Let's see, can I just zoom in? Sure, why not? Whoa, why did that happen? Why did I do that? Okay, it's like Be Real or something all of a sudden. Okay, let's try again. See, I don't know how to use this thing. Okay, that's better. Okay, so this is an Incan counting board. You'll see an image of this on your homework, so don't fret. You don't have to memorize this or have it. Well, it's not that hard to explain. So let me explain it really quick. And then, so what the Incans did, they had 2 ways of counting. This is the way they would count small quantities of things. So let me just do it with these little cubes. They would have little stones, pebbles, counters, or what have you. And whenever they put a stone or a counter in one of those spots, the little squares, this is not really working out for me. So here, whoops. There. Didn't realize it'd be so complicated. Okay, so any of the ones around the outside. So these or these, those singles, those are 1. Those are worth 1. Now, this is where things get crazy. Is anyone familiar with like Harry Potter? You know their system of money?
Yep.
I don't even know. There's like this weird system where what's the smallest unit?
A nut.
A nut. How many nuts for the next unit?
I think so, yeah. I think you're-
Yeah, it's something crazy like this. Like I know some of you are like Harry Potter. I wasn't allowed to read that. It's okay. Another way of looking at this is think of the way we measure distances in America. So United States. So how first of all we start with inches. How many inches are in a foot?
12.
And then how many feet are in a yard? And how many yards are in a mile?
5,300.
5,080.
No, I haven't heard it yet. Okay, I know there's 5,280 feet in a mile. I'd have to divide by 3. But anyway, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Why do we do it this way? Well, the Incans had something crazy as well. So all of those little squares around the outside, they're worth 1. And if you put a little cube in one of these rectangular areas, that's worth 2. Okay, so that's what I'm counting here is I see 6, a total of 6, because there's the 4 in the units, and then the 1 here. That's 8. So you're counting by 2s. If you put anything in one of those rectangular things, it's 2. So now I've got 10. Now this is where things get really crazy. This middle thing here, this S shape, that's worth 3. I know, it's like the feet and the inches. Okay, so there's 3. So what are we up to now? 13? 13? And then, so I could do this, and now I'm up to 15. Is that right? Because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the outer ring. And then I've got 3 2s. That's a total of 12, and then the 3 in the middle. Yeah, it just gets ugly, doesn't it? Now that one is 6. I know. What were they thinking? Well, you could ask the same thing of our system of measurement. And then this little guy up here, that's 12. I know, it's terrible. Here, I've got the picture. Maybe I should use the PowerPoint. So give me a sec. We'll get this. We'll get it figured out. So let's see. Here is PowerPoint land. There it is. Incan counting boards. So yeah, I didn't print enough of these. Also, we don't have enough time right now. So sorry about that. So here is the Incan counting board. So let me write down the values. So 1 around the outside, 1 around the outside. All of those little squares around the outside, they're worth 1. These rectangles are each worth 2. So any pebble that's in one of those is worth 2. The middle section is worth 3. These are worth 6. And each of these is worth 12. So let's just put a number here. Here's one of these. I'll show you it, and you can tell me what number I have represent. Oh, here. No, I'll do that in a minute. So there's the thing. You think you got it? 1, 2, 3, 6, 12. It's not that hard. This is in your book, so you can access that. When we do the homework preview, I'll make sure that we look at that. But let's see if we can see what this looks like here. Okay, so there's that. Push this over. See if you can identify this number. So I just threw a bunch of cubes in there. Oh, you've got it? It is 15. How did you get 15? Okay, so this is 6. Oh, wait. Yeah, this is 6. This is 6. Yeah. Okay, very nice. Sorry, it got little up there. I know, it's crazy. But this is sort of, there's a reason, there's a method behind this madness. Let me do another number. And I'm going to do this with little white cubes instead of little gray cubes. And I'm just going to put them in here, just in some, there we go. So the white cubes, you might say, well, why would you have white and gray cubes? Well, let's say that you're trying to count 2 different things. You've got the sheep and the goats, or whatever it is that you're trying to keep straight. and you're counting the number of sheep and the number of goats, or vice versa. So how many little white cubes? What do they represent? So it's a different. You just have to make sure you keep straight white versus gray. Oh, I'll get someone else, but I know you know. Oh, you've got it? Wait. Why can't I think of your name? You would think it would be so easy. It's like the easiest name in here. What is your name?
Sam.
Sam? Sam I am. Go.
31.
You got 31?
Yeah.
I got something different. I hope I'm right, but I might be wrong. I just did it in my head. Oh, what about you? Gray? No. Lauren? All right, Lauren. 28? We could take a vote. Did anyone else get 31? 28? Okay, I got 28 too. Sorry, not to, I mean, it's fine. It's good learning experience. You'll get it right on the quiz. So I think this is 12. So let's keep track of this. 12 plus 6 is 18, plus 2 is 20, then 23, 26, 27, 28. Is that right?
Yeah.
So we're just doing the white cubes. All right, we got it. We got this. Okay, so this isn't too bad. So you're going to be fine with that. Let's see. 10 minutes. Let us do this. Switch back to PowerPoint land. I'm going to make this big again. Now, the Incas, they didn't only do counting using the Incan counting boards. They also used a positional system. And they used this positional system that is based on rope. And it's called the quipu. I have these shoelaces that I can use. So here's the way it's spelled. Q-U-I-P-U. I believe I'm pronouncing it right, but it doesn't really matter because the Incans are all dead and they can't complain. But, well, oh, I shouldn't say that. I think there are some ancestors of the Incans. Yeah, I was super insensitive. I apologize if you are. But anyway, so I have these ropes, and each of the ropes represents a different quantity. Now, with these Incan counting boards, these are all very temporary, aren't they? And you can move these little cubes around, or pebbles, and they could spill out. And, you know, then you've lost your number. What number was that? I don't even know. But the quipu, this is a positional system, and it's a little bit more permanent. And so what the Incas would do is they would want to represent a number, and to represent that number, they'd tie knots into a rope. I'm going to tie these somewhat loosely because I want to be able to undo this and use it for some magic trick later on in the future. So here we go. Let's do 2. I'll just do this here, and then 1. Okay, so there's 2, 1. And then let's see if I can do this correctly. There. Okay. Oh, that is terrible. So I found this to be extremely difficult to figure out, but I think we can all see that on my little knots here, I've got 2 knots here. So there's a 2. That's 200. And then this is 10. So this is very similar to many of you who did positional systems. In fact, it's almost the same as the dots and lines back here, because they have their lines and there's a bunch of dots. Just here it's knots on string. But anyway, so these are the hundreds right here. There's 200. This is 10, so 210. And then this thing, this is where things get a little bit weird, is the very last one is a weird sort of multiple knot. So this is kind of a single overhand knot. Here I wrapped the string around 3 times. You can't really see it unless you look really closely, but those 3 wraps, that's supposed to be 3. If I wrapped it around 5 times, it would be 5. 9 times, it would be 9. Fortunately for us, you don't have to make knots because you're probably just as bad as I am at making knots. In your book, as well as on the homework, you're going to see images similar to this. You'll have this, and then once I have my number, maybe this represents the number of sheep that I own or whatever, how much money I owe someone, that will be attached to some main chord, and then there will be another number down here. So these are a bunch of numbers. There are actually 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers here. And I think you can guess what this number is. That's 0, yeah, so that one's easy. So let's talk about the symbolism here, just so that you understand when you look at the homework. Here you have 2 knots. Each of the dots, at least the way that your book is going to represent it, is going to be like a knot here. So that's 2,000. Okay, because here that you go units, tens, hundreds, thousands, just like the girls back here with their lines, or any of you with your place value, any of the place value systems. So these are units at the bottom, tens, hundreds, thousands, and so on. So this will be 2,000, and then there's a single knot, 100, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 knots makes 60, and then this is supposed to represent a knot like this at the bottom where there are 2 twists instead of so there's 2 twists here, and so that's the symbol you'll see in the book. But so that'll be 2. So it'll be 2,162 is the correct interpretation of that. And I think I've got that here somewhere. Here it is, yeah. Whoops. Where did I put it? Whoops, maybe not. Why does it look so bad? Well, anyway, there it is, 2,162. Apparently, my PowerPoint is not building correctly on this iPad, but you don't have to worry about that. So the problem that we run into is something like this. This number right here. Oh, and by the way, this, because the way that you would represent 1 at the end, since these are all these twists, this is supposed to be a figure 8 knot. And a figure 8 knot, it's a little different from an overhand knot. It doesn't matter. If you see this symbol, it's the number 1 at the end. So this is 2 at the end. This is 1 at the end. So, so anyway, how would you interpret this rope? Just out of curiosity. Yeah, anyone want to take a quick guess? 31. 31, you would think, yeah, 31. You have a 1 at the end and 3 at the top. The problem is that, and this is a problem with the Incan system, is how do we know that that is 3 tens and not 3 hundreds or 3,000s? Or perhaps it's, whoops, sorry, why is it not? Oh, it's just going to do that to me. So that's clearly 3. And that's clearly 1. But is this 31 or is it 301? Because there's a big blank spot there in the middle. Or is it 3001? You know, who's to say? So this is one of the deficits or the problems with the Incan system of this quipu, is there was no way to represent a 0 in the place in a place value system like this. So they didn't have a way of representing 0 with knots. So I'm not sure exactly how they got around this. The main thing I wanted to sort of show you is that there are different ways of representing numbers beyond our normal symbols. So this 0, though, is a pretty modern invention. We have a 0, and we benefit from the 0 by being able to represent various things. Ooh, this one is, oh, this is, I don't know why that's showing up like that. But there's this paper that was written a little bit ago about the number 0, pretty famous. I don't know if it was in the Atlantic or the New York Times, one of them. And this was one of the sidebars that I pulled out of this. So this is just something that mathematicians have known for a long time. Babylonians displayed a 0 with 2 angled wedges. So just different ways of dealing with zeros. So the Babylonians were the first ones to come up with zeros. The Mayans used an eye-like character. Oh, top left. There is no top left. I don't know where it is. Chinese started writing an open circle that we now use for zeros. Hindus depicted 0 as a dot originally, but then it opened up to be a circle. So the circle for 0, it took a while to develop this. Many cultures didn't even have the circle for 0, this circle like this. Then we get to our Hindu-Arabic system. So you can see this, this doesn't have a 0, the original Brahmi numbers, but then we have this sort of little dot here to represent the 0, which was important for actually representing large numbers. Okay, so what can you expect on your homework? Let's do the homework preview, and then we'll call it a day. Now, so give me a sec here. Here we go. Okay, so you can expect a couple of things. This is early counting systems. Now, one of the things that I need to mention to you is that we aren't always able to get through all the stuff. In fact, I wanted to break you into groups to do this, but I wasted too much time of your time doing the fake number systems. So my apologies on that. But hopefully we can play games in the future. But one thing you should know is that we sometimes don't cover every single thing that's on the homework. I think it will be okay this time, but just in general, if there is a topic on the homework that we didn't cover in class, it will be okay because it is in the book. Let me demonstrate with this early counting systems. So I've given you a little bit of a taste, maybe a few hooks to hang your hats on, so to speak. But you'll see here, why is it so, there we go. So you'll see here that you have an Incan counting board where they're asking you how much do we have represented on that board. That you can figure out. Multiples is not part of the Incan counting board. That's easy, and so on. So most of these are pretty easy. But then, okay, some other things. Here we go. This is where we didn't cover this, but I'm pretty sure you can figure this out. But if not, we'll be talking about it next time. So can you convert our numbers to Roman numerals? I know you're thinking, well, I don't know how to do that. Okay, well, if you don't know how to do that, it's going to be okay, because what you can do is you can go to the book. So some of you know how to deal with Roman numerals, but if you don't, it'll be all right. Well, maybe once I get this clicked here, because you can go to the book and find that. So give me a sec here. It'll take me a couple of clicks through the book. So you might skip to the stuff that you don't know about. You don't care about that maybe. There's this. So you've got more stuff with the Incan counting board. There's a video. There's the Quipu. Waiting. And I think the very next section, give me a sec here. Is this it? There's Hindu Arabic. Once again, yeah, we're still, oh, here we go. Roman numerals. Okay, so here's Roman numerals. We have the places or the different symbols. And then there's the main thing with Roman numerals is there's this rule. So when you do this, if you don't know the rule, be sure to look at this table. So these are the different, some special rules that if you have numbers that appear out of order, like CM, M is 1,000, and I know you might not know that, but if you look at the table above this, M is 1,000, C is 100. So CM is 1,000 minus 100. So these are sort of the ways that you can represent some special numbers. And by the way, these are not hard to remember. M for millennium, like a millennium, is 1,000 years. C, 1 cent, is 1/100th of a dollar. I don't know about the D. XL, we had Super Bowl XL a little while back. Isn't it Super Bowl L now, or LV, LI? What is the Super Bowl this year?
It's 57. So
Oh, LVII. Yeah. So anyway, XL. I thought that they missed an opportunity for marketing back then, but anyway, so that was 40. But yeah, do your best. And like I said, we're at the beginning of class, we will have time to pick up the pieces. So if you're really confused about the Roman numerals when you get to them on the homework, just do your best, and we'll work it out together next time. So don't fret. Come see me if you want.